First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Welcome into First Alert Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes White along with meteorologist Lauren Linehan, and we are talking about another round of rain and storms later on this week. Some of those storms with that particular system could be on the strong side. That's going to be the next big thing that we get into here. Let's talk about our First Alert weather headlines. Right now you can tell we're starting to warm up. Today we reached 70 in a lot of areas, and tomorrow a pretty good chance we're going to get close to 70 again. That's running well above average, which typically for this time of the year is around 57 degrees. So we're back in the above average temperature range, and typically you start to see systems moving in as you get into that abnormally warm pattern. Sometimes you got to watch out there. The instability is going to be a big question mark with this next system late Wednesday into Thursday. However, a lot of wind energy, which many times that can overcompensate for that lack of instability. So we'll watch for that setup again Wednesday night into Thursday. Gusty winds and that threat for an isolated tornado that we're going to be watching. The Storm Prediction Center already, well, they pretty much have the entire region highlighted in a marginal severe risk. It seems like every time we deal with a threat of storms now, this is what we typically see as a marginal severe weather risk. It's certainly not an outbreak kind of setup, but it's something we just need to keep an eye on. And it's a night we don't want to go to bed without having that weather app nearby just in case we get a warning. Again, I'm not expecting a major outbreak, but this is one of those low-end risks, but it only takes one storm, right? So we need to keep an eye on it. That's going to be Wednesday night and into Thursday morning. But right now it's very nice, very calm, very stable across the area. The dew point here in Tuscaloosa is at 36. That's some dry air that's in place right now. So temperature-wise, I know we had a nice warm-up today. Still going to be chilly out there. We're going to see a big drop-off down into the 40s for early tomorrow morning. So even here in Tuscaloosa and areas to the northeast, you get in around Mentone and parts of Cherokee County and DeKalb Counties, a pretty good chance we'll see some upper 30s there early tomorrow morning. But here's that hourly forecast, and showing just a few high clouds moving through. Wind southeast at 5 to 10. You can see tomorrow morning 44 degrees. Rest of the day on Tuesday, 11 a.m. 62. Wind south at 5 to 10. Afternoon temperature, a nice warm up there, close to 70 degrees. But some nice comfortable conditions there you can see on that hourly forecast. That's a live look, by the way, over Highway 280 in Birmingham. First Alert Sky Vision. We got the view from our tower camera right now as well, where we're showing again those 60-degree temperatures. It looks like the wind has settled there for the time being, but temperature-wise tonight, lows staying well above that freezing point. Look at northeast areas already. Gadsden and Center already showing 49 degrees, so you can see clearly from this map where we're going to see some of those coldest conditions there early tomorrow morning. All right, so what about this system on Wednesday? We'll talk about that. The risk for storms. We're going to show you some of the forecast data that we have taking us out to Wednesday night and into Thursday morning. Some of the high resolution data actually picking up on that, so we can get into more specifics on timing. Looks like for the weekend we're going to have some colder weather on the way. Could involve a few snow flurries across parts of Alabama. We'll show you that. Also coming up here on Weather Extra, we go beyond the 7-day forecast and we'll take a look at some of the stories happening around the region. Stay with us. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra.
Every storm has a story, where it came from, where it's going, and the lives impacted in between. Where our story begins is with your First Alert, warning you well ahead of time so the chapter in between isn't filled with surprises. The largest team on your side, dedicated to telling the story that starts and ends with you. This is why we First Alert.
First Alert, we are tracking
In times like this,
we now have a tornado warning that's active.
Having a way to see and hear what's happening on your phone.
The most intense part of this storm right now is tracking towards Shelby County.
That means everything.
Okay, you need to get in your safe place now. Stay there. We will let you know when this warning expires. Stay with us.
Download the First Alert Weather app today. Stay alert. Stay with the First Alert Weather Team. Mornings, they're yours. Where you start fresh, get your body moving, and tackle a new day. Our mornings are for you. Janice, Mike, Mickey, and Toy. Starting early and staying with you all morning long. With more voices speaking to you where you are. And getting to the point with more First Alert weather and traffic from the source you trust. Always on your side. This is Good Day, Alabama.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. So you may not have known, but it is Severe Weather Awareness Week in Alabama. We've already had a pretty active stretch of weather in January, including a deadly tornado outbreak, especially to our south. And we know the winter season is just our secondary severe weather season, and spring is just around the corner. So today we want to make sure you have a reliable way to receive alerts like the First Alert Weather app or your NOAA weather radio. If you have both, that is even better. So in the wake of the January 12th tornado in Greene County, FEMA is opening a disaster recovery office in Utah. Beginning tomorrow, those living in Utah can begin applying for assistance. Our Brian Henry tells us more.
Most of the damage in Greene County from that mid-January storm occurred in Utah. 200 people affected, 30 to 50 homes damaged, according to Utah spokesman Corey Martin.
With Greene County, I believe I think we're at like a $38,000 or $39,000 public assistance cap. We exceeded that. So FEMA looks at different metrics.
For weeks, FEMA had boots on the ground surveying the damage, not just in Greene County, but in other counties such as Dallas, Autauga, and Hale. Now the focus is opening up a recovery center in the very communities hit by the storm. It's Greene County's turn this week with a particular concentration on Utah.
If you look at what the city spent, Alabama Power, AT&T, I mean, you're easily looking at $2 or $3 million worth of damage once you consider all the utilities and all the manpower and all the equipment.
And a reminder from Corey Martin to those affected by the storms:
you can't benefit twice.
FEMA is your last resort, meaning if you have private insurance, FEMA can't pay you.
FEMA is kind of like an insurer of last resort. You need to exhaust all your insurance and all your options first.
Corey Martin says the Disaster Recovery Center will be at the community center in town on Greensboro Avenue starting at 1 p.m. on Tuesday. Also, P.S. very happy birthday to Brian Henry today. I think I saw he turned 60. May have to double check those numbers, but I saw that. So very impressive. Big 6-0. Happy birthday, Brian. In the meantime, some good and bad news. If you're tired of smelling that burning landfill in St. Clair County, the EPA tells us the fire is still going, but it's under control. Our Bria Chapman spoke to an on-scene coordinator who says the fire is still burning underground in some spots, but they are still working to smother it. And that 3 to the 4 week timeline they first told us about still seems to be on target.
We are seeing a lot of reduction, and most of the offsite contamination, if not eliminated, mostly gone within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
The EPA says they've pretty much fully covered the eastern side of the landfill, which is helping reduce smoke and chemical levels. Now they began to work on the western part.
Most of our focus is on the western portion, bringing in the thousands of cubic yards of fill and cover material we need to completely smother the fire.
As they continue to check the air quality results, they're showing that things are moving in the right direction, but there is still more work to do.
We've seen a gradual reduction. Even though we're working on the western portion, we haven't yet put the cover on it. We're still working on the slope. It's a very steep drop off that was caused by some of the fire. There was a collapse on the western portion, so we're having to build that slope up, and then we'll put the cover on it.
Some residents have expressed concerns about items at the landfill not being removed as the EPA covers the fire, but Stillman says they have a plan to deal with those materials.
We don't expect that the fire itself will be completely out, meaning underground, right away, but we're reducing and eliminating the oxygen getting to the what's smoldering below the surface. We're compacting, so the landfill itself. So we're getting rid of the voids.
Stillman says that is a standard procedure when putting out a fire at a landfill, and they have received updated results on the air quality testing they've been doing. Once they release it to the public, we'll be sure to update you on air and online. Meanwhile, across the world, search and recovery efforts are underway in Turkey and Syria, where more than 3,000 people are dead following a major earthquake Monday morning. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan has more from London.
Turkish officials are calling it the deadliest earthquake in a century, a 7.8 magnitude quake hitting the border area between Turkey and Syria early Monday morning. Hundreds of buildings were destroyed almost instantly, and thousands of people are dead, with that number expected to climb significantly. Survivors describing a horrific experience as they tried to escape.
We felt the quake. It was very strong, so we pulled out with the kids, with my wife, and as we reached the entrance of the building, it collapsed totally on us.
Hours after the first earthquake, another quake measuring 7.7 hit less than 100 miles away. Hospitals on both sides of the border are now being flooded with victims, while hundreds of rescue workers dig through the rubble and debris looking for any survivors.
We can expect the death toll to increase significantly. There's been a lot of building collapses, and it'll increase more significantly around the epicenter of the earthquake.
And more help is on the way. President Biden offering assistance to Turkish officials. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his government is sending rescue teams and medical aid, and the European Union is sending supplies and personnel to aid in the rescue efforts.
We have mobilized more than 10 urban search and rescue teams from a number of member states to support the first responders on the ground.
Syria's ongoing civil war could complicate the rescue mission. The area is currently divided between rebel and government-held territory. In London, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
Meanwhile, closer to home, new tonight on Weather Extra, minor earthquake detected just to our north and east near the Alabama-Georgia state line. A 2.0 magnitude quake detected in Treon, located in northwest Georgia, around 10 a.m. this morning. Right now, there are no reports of any injuries or damage. We're certainly thinking of folks over in Turkey and Syria this evening. In the meantime, with our local forecast, Chief Meteorologist Wes White will take a look at that severe threat that we could be seeing early Thursday morning, and I'll take you on a journey beyond the 7-day First Alert Weather Extra. We'll be right back.
Are you noticing mold or discoloration in your shower? Or maybe you just want to replace that old bathtub with something more modern and luxurious? Well, either way, we've got you covered. Hey everybody, I'm joined by BJ Worzen, owner of West Shore Home, to talk a little shower and bath remodeling and how West Shore is making the entire process from start to finish fast and easy. BJ.
Thanks, Joe. At West Shore Home, we understand the headaches and stress a remodeling project can cause. That's why everything that we do is designed to make it stress-free for our customers.
A lot of people don't think of remodeling as stress-free, especially bath remodeling. So how are you making a complicated process easier?
Everything in our process can be done from the comfort of your own home. Give us a call and we'll send one of our bath experts out that has a time that's most convenient for you. And when it comes time for that installation, we're going to send one of our employee installers out and complete that project in as little as 1 day.
So no running out to big box stores and comparing samples and colors and then maybe waiting months for the installation. You're saying this is an all-inclusive process, making it really fast and easy for customers. That's great. Now, BJ, I understand you have a flash sale going on right now. Tell us about that.
That's right, Joe. Right now, anyone that gives us a call, we're going to do free installation on all shower and bath remodeling projects. On top of that, we're going to be doing 12 months, no interest, no payment financing. That means you can get that bath project done right now and not have to make any payments or pay any interest until 2024.
Free installation, that's a great offer. Well, let's see some projects you've done recently.
Absolutely, let's take a look. Here, we were able to completely remove an outdated shower and bath and install something that matched the rest of their bathroom. That low step feature is going to make getting in and out of that shower really easy. And the sleek matte black hardware looks amazing. Here's a few more. All of these were installed in 1 day, and just a reminder, for a limited time, anyone that calls will get free installation on their shower and bath project.
BJ, thanks so much. Folks, call West Shore Home now for this limited time offer. It's free installation on all shower and bath projects. Plus, for limited time, BJ is doing 12 months of no payments and no interest financing. Get your shower project now, and don't worry about making a single payment until 2024. Call West Shore Home now.
Welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra, and no rain out there tonight. We are going to be talking about some showers tomorrow night making a return across the area. Here's that First Alert Super 7-day forecast, and tomorrow it's going to be a super day, 70 degrees, south wind, just a few clouds moving in. We could start to see some showers tomorrow night, but it won't take long here. You see the temperatures. We start out in the 40s in the morning, maybe some upper 30s to the far north and east, but temperatures still well above freezing. Afternoon, 3 o'clock, 70 degrees, so circle tomorrow. That's another day where we're going to enjoy some comfortable conditions, get a walk in around the neighborhood, take it in while it lasts, because later on this week, especially by Saturday, we get into the cold wind, cloudy, kind of dreary conditions there Friday into Saturday. But that transition is going to bring a weather shakeup here around the middle of the week. We're looking at a pretty good chance for rain and storms happening on Wednesday night and into Thursday. So let's get into it here, looking at the future radar. This is from the Global High-Resolution Atmospheric Forecasting System. This is the IBM model that we're choosing today to deliver the forecast data beyond the next 24. And there's a look at 6 a.m. on Tuesday. And you can see there the showers hold off during the day, but tomorrow night we could start to see a little bit of rain. This is what we call isotrophic lifting. We get moisture start to lift in across the state of Alabama, and as that moisture overruns the region, you get clouds, and sometimes you get some showers out of this. Some of that could reach the surface there during the overnight, so a few showers certainly possible as that moisture lifts in. Nothing too extreme. We'll get through most of the night there on a dry note, but you can see the mild conditions there. 6 a.m. on Wednesday showing 60 in Hamilton and Tuscaloosa, so certainly that is mild for this time of the year. So more of that humid feel makes a return by Wednesday. So during the day Wednesday, the forecast guidance has been suggesting the afternoon we could start to see maybe some pop-up shower, maybe even an isolated storm developing with the heating of the day. As we warm up into the 70s, we're going to see a nice recovery in those temperatures on Wednesday. It's going to be warm out there later in the day. I think the models may be underplaying those temperatures just a bit there for the afternoon, but we could get a few scattered showers. There's 7 o'clock, and this one model in particular really wants to favor areas south and east of Birmingham for a better chance of maybe a passing downpour Wednesday in the afternoon. So I can't promise the entire day will be completely dry, but we will have some decent breaks on Wednesday. I promise there will be plenty of opportunities to get out there and enjoy some of the warmer conditions there. Overnight, though, this is that main line that's going to move in, line of rain and storms. It's going to come in here late Wednesday night. Could see this get in here by 11:30. See, that's showing this data is actually a little bit faster here on the arrival time. Earlier, this model was showing around midnight and after midnight, but you can see there by midnight that line reaching West Alabama and then reaching Tuscaloosa, Jasper, Coleman after midnight. And you can see that line pushing into central areas. We'll have to watch along that line for the risk of a severe storm. It's a marginal threat. A lot of wind energy with this system, negative tilt trough coming across the region. You look at a lot of those ingredients for severe weather. We see some of those parameters there, but the instability is lacking. But that's not too uncommon with these cold season setups. But with the wind energy, that can sometimes overcompensate for that lack of instability. So that's why we think there is a low end risk for a tornado or some strong winds. I certainly wouldn't go to bed Wednesday night without having that weather radio nearby, just in case we see a warning that happens during the overnight. But again, the threat is marginal. It's a marginal risk that we're talking about. Level 1 out of 5, not an outbreak sort of setup, but one where we could get a warning that happens overnight. 7 in the morning, we're going to be watching that mostly east of I-65 from Clanton to Gadsden. You can see there as we wake up Thursday morning, this is going to be moving out. And then we'll kind of have an in-between period before the really cold air gets here for the weekend. Again, I mentioned that rain moves out early Thursday, and then Friday we kind of catch a break. But notice 59 degrees, those clouds start to build in again Friday night and Saturday. That chill is in the air, 34 degrees, but it's going to be windy at 34 degrees. So wind chills will be down in the low 30s, upper 20s, and we could see a few showers, maybe even a few flurries there for late Friday night and into Saturday. And that should move out Saturday during the day, and we'll have some dry weather for the rest of the weekend. So not too bad, but certainly a change from where we're at, going from 70 right now to highs back in the 50s over the weekend. That system, we're going to have to keep an eye on it there for Wednesday. But looking ahead into next week, I know Monday looks dry. I want to bring in meteorologist Lauren Linehan again. And Lauren, you're taking a look at some of that long-range data. You know, it's February. It's the love month, right? We got Valentine's Day coming up, so we need to talk a little bit about what's on the way next week.
Yeah, apparently that's the case in February, but we are going to start off the Super 7-Day, or beyond the 7-Day, going beyond that. Valentine's is just around the corner, so that's top of the list. What's going to happen there? Well, I will tell you, it does look like the general pattern. I know you're probably shocked to hear this, because what else is new? 8 to 14 days from now, still looks like the pattern is going to be favoring above average rainfall, not just for us in Alabama, so we're not the only ones who keep getting rain on our parade, but this is going to extend about across the eastern third of the U.S. So I'm not telling you it's going to be a deluge every day, but if we were to get to the end of the month and average those rainfall totals, we could be setting ourselves up for a surplus of rain again in February. But here we are on Valentine's Day, looking at our American model for what we could see in terms of the flow in the atmosphere and if we could see any rain or storm systems. So here we are Tuesday morning, that next Tuesday on Valentine's Day, seeing a rainmaker approaching from the west and pushing eastward throughout the day. So it's still too far out to determine the timing on this, but we will certainly let you know in the days ahead if it still looks like there's going to be rain. If you have any plans to grab dinner on Tuesday night, we'll let you know if we would have anything in the way of rain or storms around. But it looks like that Wednesday, the 15th, looking drier, still mild. And then here we go, that following Thursday, the 16th, showing another rainmaker coming in. You see that southwest flow in the atmosphere that could be bringing rain to us through next Friday. And then if you ever get cold enough, there's always the question about any wintry precipitation. Now this is a long ways out. It's suggesting, okay, well maybe if it were a little colder to the north, we could see something in parts of the mid-south in the way of some wintry precipitation. I am in no way buying that yet. It's just showing that's what the model is spitting out at this point. But it is showing, regardless, an active pattern, whether that is in terms of severe weather or rain or a wintry mix. For us, I think at least still seeing the chance for at least above average precipitation and rainfall. So going into that weekend after Valentine's Day, if maybe you're waiting to celebrate the weekend after Super Bowl Sunday and after Valentine's Day to maybe go out to dinner or do something fun, maybe go on a hike, does look like that weekend there could be some rain around. Hopefully that'll change, but then still looking like a wet pattern going into that following Monday. Now, in terms of temperatures, we did mention, okay, could it get cold enough to support anything of a wintry mix? Not necessarily here, somewhere in the mid-south. It still looks like generally the eastern half of the country going to be seeing above average temperatures. I don't know about y'all though, it's been feeling pretty good today, and knowing we're still going to see 60s and 70s in the forecast over the next few days. Not mad about it. We certainly got blasted with winter really early on this year, so I don't know about y'all. Happy to see some spring-like temperatures in the forecast. So here we are going into next week. We talked about that cool down over Super Bowl weekend, and then seeing a warm-up once we get to Valentine's Day and beyond. Maybe once again seeing temperatures by the middle of next week getting into the 60s, if not low 70s, and then potentially another cool down going into that following weekend. So again, looking cool for Super Bowl weekend as we look at those morning lows. Milder by the middle of next week once we get past Valentine's Day, and then potentially another cool down. I don't know about y'all, I don't mind it being warm in the middle of the week, but it'd be cool for it to be warm on the weekend so we could enjoy that sunshine. But we'll take what we can get. We know spring is just around the corner, and eventually we'll all be complaining about being hot and muggy. But coming up next on Weather Extra, I'll take a final look at your forecasts. We'll be right back.
Every storm has a story, where it came from, where it's going, and the lives impacted in between. Where our story begins is with your first alert, warning you well ahead of time so the chapter in between isn't filled with surprises. The largest team on your side, dedicated to telling the story that starts and ends with you. This is why we First Alert.
First Alert, we are tracking
In times like this,
we now have a tornado warning that's active.
having a way to see and hear what's happening on your phone,
The most intense part of this storm right now is tracking towards Shelby County.
that means everything.
Okay, you need to get in your safe place now. Stay there. We will let you know when this warning expires. Stay with us.
Download the First Alert Weather app today. Stay alert. Stay with the First Alert Weather Team. Mornings, they're yours. Where you start fresh, get your body moving, and tackle a new day. Our mornings are for you. Janice, Mike, Mickey, and Toy, starting early and staying with you all morning long. With more voices speaking to you where you are. And getting to the point with more First Alert weather and traffic from the source you trust. Always on your side. This is Good Day, Alabama.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Meteorologist Lauren Linehan. I know it's the evening, but we all know morning commutes can be stressful, as is. But add in dense fog to the ride, and we all know this all too well. Even just a few sprinkles, it can be a real mess. Some drivers in North Alabama woke up to some dense fog this morning. Fog settled primarily across the Meridianville area right as people were heading to work. They had to drive cautiously through about 4 miles of dense fog. That is the best part about working the evening shift. We don't have to deal with the morning commute or that dense fog. It's never good, though, when Wes and I leave work and there's already fog forming outside. It's like, this does not bode well for the next morning. In the meantime, here in central Alabama, the Shelby County Humane Society says it's overrun with dogs and they need your help. The shelter can typically hold 150 dogs, but right now there are more than 200. Haley Neal with Shelby Humane says at one point they were housing around 250 dogs. Fortunately, that number has since dropped. One of the problems is there's been a lull on adoptions. Neal says even if you can't adopt right now, fostering an animal or simply volunteering to play with a few of them is huge and can improve their mental well-being along with the likelihood of getting adopted.
We really just need the community's help and the community's involvement to come. You know, you can even walk these dogs. They need out for even a day, a week. And if you have a little extra space, you know, you could foster an adult dog. These dogs, they really need you, and the cats do too.
Absolutely. Shelby Humane actually has a Valentine's special happening right now. You can get a $14 discount when adopting an adult dog or cat, making the total just $36. You know, as a rescue mom, I would definitely encourage you to adopt, because who rescued who, right? In the meantime, here's that Super 7-day forecast for tonight. It's not going to be too unbearably cold. Still gradually getting a little bit milder with this warming trend in place. You'll see on Tuesday and Wednesday, still looking at the potential for, if not upper 60s, getting on the other side of that 70-degree mark. So a warm up in the forecast that is going to be setting the stage for some rain and storms. Should be coming in late Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. I would go ahead and plan that for Thursday morning, even if you don't see anything in the way of a severe storm around, because we've got just that level 1 out of 5 risk. There is going to be some rain to put a damper on that morning commute. And then another cool down as we head towards the weekend. Definitely looking chilly, especially Friday night into early Saturday. That's where we're going to watch for maybe a stray flurry across North Alabama. Not a guarantee here, but I am going to tell you it's going to be a great excuse to sleep in again on your Saturday morning. You know we love those weekend naps. But Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt will be back tonight on First at 9 to get an updated look at some of that model data when it comes to the rain and storms Thursday morning. And you can catch us back here on Weather Extra tomorrow night at 6:30. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Have a safe and happy Monday evening.